Hello, ladies. I'm going to train on our PowerX GenX tracking system that helps you literally run your business and know exactly where you're at. Because, of course, a tracked number grows your business because then you know exactly what you have done in your business day to day, of course, throughout the week and through your month. And so I haven't had the opportunity to train with you on our tracking system. What I love about it is our national sales director, Leah Laughlin, had this in place when literally I was a red jacket. And it is such a phenomenal tracking system that, of course, implemented and shared, and many, many perks about it. And so I want to go over the tracking sheet. And of course, it's on our unit Bliss page. It's on our unit app, as well as this is a tracking sheet as well that's in our Facebook pinned post. And it is there with the requirements. There is a P6 level. That's a Power 6. That means that you had equivalent of 6 parties in the month. There is a P8, 8 parties, of course, and what the requirements, how many faces, how many career surveys you've done for the month. If you ordered a wholesale order from the company, that's a number that goes on your tracking sheet as well. And so in the pin post is your tracking sheet. The submittal form, when you click on the submittal form, it literally says how many faces did you see, what your order was for the company, etc. And then literally it emails me. And those are always due on Monday morning to me by 10 a.m. So it's noon my time, 10 a.m. If you're on Mountain Time. And so those are due. And then on Tuesday, after everybody's numbers are submitted, that's when you get the recognition for it. And then we track them. They are due for the entire month by the 5th. So on the 5th, today it's March 1st. So on March 5th, your entire month numbers are due to me, and that submittal form is for your entire month. So you could have recorded that you did 5 faces last week, but now you're going to count the entire numbers for the entire month. And those are always due on the 5th of every single month. So I just wanted to clarify that. And of course, the website recognition, as well as the achievers that actually did the requirements. And it could be the minimum of the P6 level all the way up to 10 throughout the month. And of course, if you're brand new, highly recommend just to pull up those requirements. And what I love about GenX is this is a proven tracking system that helps you to achieve STAR, as well as the bracelet winner of a 600 and above, because you're in front of the faces, so you're selling the products, as well as you have a certain amount of sales that you do each week, and that gets you on track for the bracelet, and then to achieve STAR, because over 3 quarters, when you've done $600 and above over 3 months, that gets you to the 1800 level, which is the minimum, of course, of the Sapphire Star package. So this was why I love it, because it's a proven tracking ground for you to run and to achieve STAR. That might be your only goal that you have, which is great. So STAR is an absolute wonderful one because of not only the prizes, but the website referrals. I cannot tell you how many incredible customers that I have today because I have been a STAR. So now I'm going to go over how you actually track your numbers, and then I'm going to go into when I actually track them myself throughout the week and throughout the month, to give you some tips on that as well. Okay, so here's the tracking sheet. And okay, so here is where all your faces go, and you see it says the name. So what I do is I write the whoever, even if she didn't buy. There are women that either don't buy or that are considering the opportunity. And so they want to wait to do their order if they're going to sign up, because then they can get a 50% discount, right? Okay, so their name throughout the month is going to carry over to all the faces that I've done. So this tracks your faces as well as your sales. So right above the name, I'm going to write on top of it what the retail amount that she purchased. So it could have been $100, and that tracks throughout your entire month. So of course, next Monday is when you're going to turn in your numbers for the previous week, which is Monday through Sunday. And then you're going to turn that in. So of course, you're going to track it by a weekly basis. Then right below it is where you actually track your retail sales for the week. And that would be by new. How many new orders and sales did you get for the week? How many reorders did you get from existing clients? And then what your total is. And then if you happen to do during that week, because of course it goes by 4 weeks throughout the month, here is where you're going to list what the order amount was. And of course it's by wholesale, okay? Here is where you're going to do any interviews and career chats. That is the same meaning. And so here's where you're going to write their name of who you did either Pearls of Sharing with or your career surveys. And you're going to put yes, no, and maybe. That means yes, they either signed up or they are going to sign up. No, they're not interested, and maybe they might. So it could have been that they're rated a 5 on their survey, between 5 and 10, or not 5 and 10, 5 and 9, and they would be a maybe. So you're going to track all those for each week. Okay, down here is where it says book 10, and here's where you're going to write all your numbers of all your new bookings that you do. And right here it says if you've done a skincare class, you've scheduled a skincare class with Molly. And a skincare class counts is if it's 3 or more women in one setting. So it could have been, I had Adriana and she brought her sister, and let's say we went to appointment at the studio, and I had somebody else that were not even related. But that will count all as one, okay? And so throughout the month, you're going to do all your new bookings. A double facial is 2 people. So it could be, again, like Adriana and her sister. And you're going to write DF for double facial, and facial is obviously the one person. Okay, over here in this box is your month-to-date totals. So right here is where I actually tally. I either do tally marks by every facial that I do, or I write the number. So let's say Saturdays are usually my power days where I do multiple appointments back to back, okay? Because that's when the working women usually can do their appointments. Okay, so right here, let's say I saw 6 faces, so I'd put a 6 and I'd just literally write a comma until my next appointment, and I kind of just do tally marks, or I write a specific number throughout my month and just carry along. So it's just super easy, just tracking your faces. Obviously, it's different if you did a skincare class. It wants to do your month to date, how many, and again, literally just do a tally mark. I did a skincare class today. And of course, I just made a video a minute ago of my filing system. And of course, everything inside your focus folder substantiates if for some reason you forgot something. And so it literally is right in back of it. That's why I love the simplicity of it. It's very easy to track, okay? Down right below it is what were your sales for the entire week. Right here is how many interviews or career chats that you did, the marketing surveys. And the ones with me, of course, are going to count as well. How many new recruits, if you had any new recruits, those get tracked right here in this box. Wholesale order. So let's say, usually I only order once a month. But if you did more than that, there'd be cumulative of how many you did throughout the month, and just write the total amount and just add it right below or next to it if you happen to do more than one in 1 month. And then where are you? Of course, you're going to write how many, all your orders that you've done, so you can know if you're tracking to finish your star. Okay. Then your appointment books and coached for the following weeks, because of course a coached and pre-profiled party actually counts towards your book 10, because you actually don't want to show up to a party that has not been coached or pre-profiled, because what happens is it just sets you up for failure and for it to fall through the cracks. So that's why it's important to coach your parties. And of course, your scripts for that, we'll do a separate training. Literally, this is your tracking system for the whole entire month. Okay. What I do is on a weekly basis is I go through, actually, let me back up, on a daily basis. Let's say I just had an appointment. I'm going to go through and, of course, I'm going to have all my sales tickets and profile cards right behind it. And then on Sundays is when I go through and I input into my database, as well as move them over, so that I've have everything tracked on a weekly basis. So then when at that point, I have evaluated what my week's been like, and I can go in and submit my numbers. And of course, they're going to come to me. And so weekly basis, but if it helps you, what I do is throughout the week at all my appointments that I do, I go in and just record what the names were and my sales amount, so that you have that tracked. But what's nice is, let's say, it happens to all of us. This is a system that I use, of course. At each appointment when I get home, I tracked it, whether it was a couple hours after I walked in the door or later that evening. But I try and track it. Again, you heard me say try and track it. Of course, a lot of us have children, okay? And so if the world is not going to come to the end if you forgot to write a face down. But again, I don't wait till the entire week, because then you're like, oh no, I guess I better get on the ball. And I either should have did a little bit more in my business. So this is a great system for you to be accountable, because you don't really know where you're at if you never look at any of you, if you haven't tracked it. Life gets busy and crazy. And so it's great to know exactly where you are, because if you are, let's say you were 95% complete with achieving the GenX Girls Night Out or the GenX prize for the month, you don't ever want to miss it. So if I knew I was like one face away from achieving it for the month, how do you think that I'd be? Oh my gosh, seriously? They're going to the spa party and I did not track my numbers. And if I was only one away, do you not think that I would find somebody for that Saturday morning before the month ended? And so that's why it's really critical to make sure that you do your numbers, for one, accountability, as well as when Tuesdays come around and I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously? It gets you in the habit of turning in your numbers for the accountability. And literally, even if it's a 0, I still want your numbers, because it forms that habit and you know exactly where you're at. I know that when I had to turn my numbers into Leah, and I would have whether it was a 0 face or 0 in sales, I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen again, right? And so that's why it's so critical, as well as I love the simplicity of it, because let's say life happened and it was an overwhelming evening, that this tracking sheet, as well as, again, in my focus folder with my sales sheets and my marketing surveys, I could easily have got everything all together here, that I can easily go back and fill it in. So I try and do it again every appointment, and then weekly and monthly. And don't forget, okay, now we have a brand new promotion. I just launched it today. We have a spa limo day that the limo's picking us up, taking us to get manicures and pedicures. And so GenX and PowerX Achievers, and just as an FYI, okay, I know that we have many consultants that have been with us for a while, okay, and so now you're going, okay, why is she talking about PowerX? Well, Leah and Pam Shaw and Julia Burnett, which is the founder of literally GenX, has been for years. Okay, they just reformulated and added in different levels to calculate it by parties. And so when they recreated it, they changed the name from GenX to PowerX so that you could calculate your parties. So again, our tracking sheet's exactly the same, but just, within the national area, it's just easier to be able for you, at seminar and, talking to our whole national area so literally, the requirements have changed a little bit because there's more than just 3 categories than there were before. And the bottom level, of course, is for the 600 and above, and you have to have so many faces per month as well as a wholesale order to the company. And so again, those requirements are on there. But if you achieve GenX for March, April, May, and June, or if you are a star consultant, you get the spa limo day with us in Dallas. And of course, if you're out of town for some reason, you absolutely missed it. But of course, we want everyone in Dallas with us. And so if for some reason, then of course, you're going to get a gift card for a spa day in your hometown. So that is our GenX program, ladies. And I can't wait. I know that after you watch this, that you are going to send me your numbers this week, right?